An audience for the Cowboys, no doubt about it. They were the surprise packets
Huge.
of last year. Everyone had them in their bottom two, just about, certainly bottom four, and then they turned it all around. So the interesting part about this, their gains, not huge.
No.
James Tarmo goes back from the Tigers, Jack Gajewski there, but in reality, it's the same 17 from last year, Mick.
They get Helam Lukey, who missed a lot of football last year. He'll come back at some stage. He's a gun back rower.
Very good player.
Luciano Leilua, who they signed late, but is now on the NRL's no-fault stand-down policy. So I'm not sure exactly the dates of that court case, if they'll be wrapped up before the season or not.
Yep.
But he's facing serious charges as well. So if Leilua and Lukey are both available, well, they're sort of two new signings for them in a sense.
Yes.
Leilua didn't play all of last year and only started playing his best football for the Cowboys at the back end of the year, and Lukey's going to be special. They had him on par with Jeremiah Nanai, and we saw what Nanai did this year.
Yeah, and Nanai's going to be that better for having played that Origin series and played for Australia as well. He won't get the good physical preparation that I'm not saying he needs, but is of great benefit to anyone
especially
going
in their
into a
second season.
Yep, Taumalolo's the same though, so they had time off on that one. The one thing I will say about from a Cowboys point of view, it was a changed approach to the season last year, not from the club, but almost from the coach. Like Todd Payton took his learnings out of his first year as a head coach and went, okay, this is what we have to do differently. And they all talked about the preseason and what they had. So what they're asking them to do right now is go to the well again.
Yeah.
Like, is that a sustainable way forward? It has been for other clubs for decades, and I'm talking about the Melbourne Storm and their physical preparation. But now they've got to do it again. You just wonder, is there that fresh voice, someone else in there that's showing that same level of motivation that they showed last year?
I think it can be for a couple of reasons. A, because they had success.
Yes.
So once you have success, you go, okay, well, let's go there again.
This verifies it.
This works.
Yep.
And a lot of their squad are rising players. So they've got, you got Tamalolo and Townsend and obviously James Tarmow, but a lot of the rest of the squad are young, so they can handle this sort of preseason and still be fresh. They're not old. They're not jaded in the sense that they've got 10 preseasons under their belt. So I think that they can handle it. You look at the emergence of Reece Robson. I know he's played a lot of footy now, but his game went to another level this year.
Yes.
Drinkwater is settled at fullback now. So they had these positions up in the air where you weren't sure exactly where their spine was going to land, but they're settled now.
I think the fact that Dearden played an Origin game last year is massive, right? Because you're looking at that spine, and we talk about it all the time. Drinkwater, Dearden, Townsend, Robson.
Huge question marks on those guys coming into 2022.
Exactly. Huge. So all of them.
All of them.
But you mentioned the support cast, and you make a very good point about players on the rise. Cotter's going to be better, which is a scary. Nano is going to be better. You start talking about what Murray Taulagi did. You would think that Val Holmes can easily replicate what he did.
Yep.
And at different stages might even be a fullback option for them. Drinkwater was a try assist machine last year. So add to that, you start looking at who might be on their bench. Cohen Hess, James Tarmo, Griffin Neame, and Mitch Dunn. You've got depth of squad.
Yep, agreed.
So are they a top four side?
They're thereabouts. I don't know. If I sat down and wrote out my top four, I probably wouldn't have them in the top four, but they're 5 or 6.
So the big challenge for me, I look at that side and I say, okay, Chad Townsend's got to replicate the season that he had.
Yeah.
His second year of a 3-year deal. Clearly, he's always been physically very well prepared, so there's no issue around that. Whatever it was that Todd Payton was doing with Chad Townsend and tapping into clearly worked.
I think with Chad's game, it's not there's not a wow factor to it. So for him to go and replicate his 2022 season, I don't think it's as difficult as someone like Ben Hunt to try and get to the same level that Ben Hunt showed in 2022. Ben Hunt's a better player than Chad Townsend, but Ben Hunt's performance this year was next level.
It was interesting. We spoke to Andrew Ty about that Cam Green team. What's the advice? Well, they bought you for that amount of money because of what you do. You don't need any more out of Chad Townsend than what he did last year. Just guide us around. Just make our fifth tackle option a good one and be that strong, motivating voice around the group. He doesn't need to do more than that.
Particularly when he's got such dynamic players around him and they got such value out of Robson and Dearden last year.
the thing I also loved about the Cowboys game was the evolution of play from Jason Taumalolo.
Yeah.
Right, we know he's got this unbelievable footwork through the middle of the field, and he's justified that $1 million 10-year contract. I think he's justified that, but him being able to tip the ball on, which is what he did on a number of occasions last year before the line, not just standing in the tackle and offloading. I thought that was a feature of their play as well. Yeah, I got the Cowboys in my top 4.
Wow,
I got the Cowboys as the top 4 side again because playing up there, I think, is a massive advantage for them too. They're making that bit of a fortress up there at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.